It was 4 years ago, almost to the day, when the little boy, then 2, was reported missing. His parents say he disappeared while on a family camping trip near DeOrr in Lemhi County. 4 people were on that camping trip: DeOrr's mom and dad, his great-grandfather, and a friend of that great-grandfather. The great-grandfather, by the way, died last month.
Tonight, in a KTVB exclusive, the last people to reportedly see baby DeOrr alive talk about the last 4 years and what they've been like. They rarely talk to the media, but his mom and dad told me after 4 years, they really felt like the public needed to hear something.
I always think about what would he be doing, or what would he be into, or, you know, what things he would like. He was only 2.5 when he went missing, and now it's 4 years that he's been missing. He's been missing longer than he was with me, and so that's really sad to me.
He'd be working on stuff with me, working on his own stuff, riding a dirt bike, riding four-wheelers. He'd be building stuff with me. That's exactly what he'd be doing.
You look like there might be a little tear in your eye.
It's not the easiest thing, but I think about this stuff, and it's good stuff, but it's not the easiest thing.
What do you think about?
Just how he'd be now. I keep positive, and it is positive, but the best thing I ever did was been a father, and I've missed out on that. Now it is what it is. Sorry.
It's okay. Take your time.
There are 3 theories as to what happened to baby DeOrr. He was kidnapped from the campground, taken off by an animal, or someone on that camping trip did something to him.
Do you have anything to hide?
No, absolutely not.
We had nothing to do with this, and we don't know anymore. And I understand how it looks and how it sounds. We just don't know anymore. And we wish we did, trust me. We wish we did. This is not a way for anybody to live.
But what is it like to be accused of something like that? What is it like to be accused of murdering your son?
It's sickening. It is sickening how quickly people will turn.
Accusations and rumors about the parents' involvement began to emerge not long after baby DeOrr disappeared. And after 1 year of no answers, in July 2016, now retired Lemhi County Sheriff Lynn Bowerman named the parents suspects.
We've given them too many opportunities to tell us what happened if it was an accident, and there's been no interest in going that direction. So that tells me there's only one other possibility. It has to be a homicide.
Bowerman told me in 2016 it was highly unlikely baby DeOrr was kidnapped. There's one road in and one road out to the remote Timber Creek campground. And if an animal had taken him, there would be evidence left behind, like DeOrr's boots that were too big for him. Bowerman believed they would have fallen off him. But after days and weeks of searching, not a trace of DeOrr found at the campground.
Sheriff Bowerman, he said, I don't even know if DeOrr was up there at that campground. What's your reaction to that? What do you want people to know about that?
You know, eventually I'll be able to prove a lot of these theories wrong, but...
What do you mean by that?
That's just a theory that is wrong. You know, my son was there, he was at the store, people seen him at the store.
That's the hardest part about all of this, is not knowing if he's alive or if he's gone, and I need to grieve and mourn the loss of my son, or, because all of this, I feel like I can't grieve because I don't know where, I don't know the situation. So if I start grieving and mourning the loss of him, then it feels like I'm giving up.
If Bowerman is correct and he says, you were changing your stories, were you changing your stories, and why?
I believe that a lot of it is like blocking things out. You're so emotional, you're trying to remember everything as they're asking you all these questions 1,000 times, and being drained and not sleeping and everything all at once. You block things out or you forget.
There were 2 more people at the campground that day: Jessica's grandfather, Bob Walton, and his friend, Isaac Reinwand.
You're the one that can say whether or not baby DeOrr was even at that campground.
As far as I know, to my knowledge, he was there.
He was there the whole time?
The whole time that we were up there, and was camping with us, yes.
What do you think happened to baby DeOrr?
I have no idea. Maybe it was an accident or something. I don't know.
Do you think he's still alive?
I don't have a comment on that.
Do you think Jessica had anything to do with his disappearance?
Ooh, I'm not going to comment on that either.
Why not?
I just feel like I just want to stay neutral in this situation, you know. Don't want to point fingers. I don't think it's nice or it's right.
Do you think Vernal DeOrr had anything to do with baby DeOrr's disappearance?
I have no idea.
Texas private investigator Philip Klein, who's now off the case, also believed Jessica and Vernal DeOrr were less than truthful, especially Jessica.
And I was very clear. I said, look, you're not going to like what I have to say. And it was like, oh my God, these two people are suspects.
Are you lying?
Absolutely not. I have nothing good to say about Klein in all reality, because he was there for the money. He didn't care about my son. The minute he got that money, he was, oh, it's the parents.
You kind of like laughed, scoffed a little. Is it just you've just learned to deal with it, or
I just feel like
he essentially said you had something to do with his disappearance.
I feel like Klein's a joke.
In my opinion, I wouldn't hire him to find a lost dog in an empty parking lot.
Vernal DeOrr says Klein accused them without any evidence of proof. They've asked, but they say Klein has never provided them with one factual piece of evidence to back his claims. Klein even said Jessica told him she knows where the body is.
Did you know where the body was? Were you going
Absolutely not. I'm pretty sure that I would have been arrested a long time ago if that's what I said.
Your name's destroyed, your life's destroyed. And unfortunately, the minute he come out and said that he believes that my son is deceased, people stopped looking for him. They just automatically condemned him to being deceased and condemned me and his mother as branded killers, as something we're not. And it was wrong. It really was.
I've lost jobs. I've had people threaten me in my workplace. I've, had people message me on Facebook calling me a baby killer, saying that they hope I rot in hell. Like, just these horrific things that I pray that no other parent has to go through this.
When we talk about the public judgment and scrutiny, can you understand why some people would point the finger at you?
I absolutely understand that.
It's one thing for a private investigator in Texas who you say is media hungry to name you as a suspect, to, as you say, kind of throw your name through the mud. But it's another to have a sitting sheriff call our newsroom and say, I am naming them as suspects. I think this is a case of homicide.
Well, that doesn't mean it's how it was. That was just, in his opinion, we were suspects.
Who did it? What happened?
If I knew, I wish I could tell you if I knew. But hopefully soon I will be able to know.
I have to ask, did you do something to DeOrr?
No. I know that this needs to be solved. I know the parents need closure, and I know everybody just wants to know what happened. So, and I wish I could tell everybody exactly what went down completely, but I don't remember everything.
The current Limhi County Sheriff, Steve Penner, does not consider any of the 4 people at the campsite a suspect. Instead, he calls them uncleared persons of interest. He told me, quote, "Other people have called them suspects, but I'm not committed to that theory. You can't just pursue one theory." And Penner still won't say what, if anything, they found 2 weeks ago during a renewed search that closed down the campground. In the meantime, the parents continue to wait.
Do you think he's still alive?
I'm trying to keep that hope alive that I will see him one day and that somebody's taking care of him, but 4 years later with no sightings, nobody asking for money, things like that. It's just hard to think that, and hard to keep that hope alive that I'm gonna see him again.
If DeOrr is still alive, what would you want to say to him right now?
I just hope that I'm making you proud, that I have in all this. Just that you knew that amongst all the negativity, that I never did stop the hope. I never did stop looking. And I love you. That's simple as that. I love you. I just want my boy.